welcome back to Sage and Stone Homestead. If you have not met me yet, my name is Heather. We are back in my messy shed, and today we're actually going to clean it because tonight we are getting a for sure frost that will hurt my key lime tree if I don't haul it in here, and I don't have any space right now. Traditionally, this is where the key lime tree lives. You can see that we do get some afternoon sun in this area, and that's nice. I do plan on getting a grow light for the key lime and sticking it up here, plugging it into where the freeze dryer is plugged in. There's really not a ton in the way over here. It kind of looks like it, but some of these are just empty boxes and things that can be burned. I was looking for these 2 weeks ago. Now I have them. We are going to be disbudding this week too. Got some goat hides here. This one is, I think, the first one that I did. You know, it's obvious. And then this one was the second one I did, and it's better. This, if you remember the goat we had named Titus, this is Titus. And rabbit hide. That's not half bad. Alright, now here is where I currently grow my mushrooms. I did get a new mushroom delivery today. It looks like the golden oysters are going to do a little flush soon. I just harvested off of this lion's mane. It doesn't look totally spent, but we'll see. I'm going to put all these to the side for now, because in wintertime the mushroom tent moves from there to here. Coming over here to move this, there's a whole loofah plant, I think, growing from the ground. Maybe it's coming from in there, I don't know. It's bigger than it was last year. That is hilarious. Okie dokie. So it's not perfect, but it's passable. And that works for me. We're gonna ignore Levi's side of the shed. This box of onions I really have to deal with. I'm just gonna have a very busy weekend, and I don't know, the fruit flies have already arrived. I kind of have to wait, goodness, probably 4 or 5 days before I can mess with that. So it could be interesting. Anywho, this here is the block that I have that has not fruited. It's the King Trumpet. I think what I'm going to do is actually seal up this cut I made. I'm going to make a cut in another area of this block, maybe on this side, and see if I can get it to fruit out of a different side. Oh, I got another King Trumpet. This one says lion's mane. This looks a little less healthy than I'm used to seeing. It's a little bit slimy and a little less bright white. I might email them about that one. This one I've never grown. This is shiitake. I'm not as familiar with what this one should look like, but I'm gonna take pictures of these two to make sure that this looks okay. I'm more used to a bright white mycelium. Oh, I just got a notification on my phone. Tomorrow sausage, and promptly my pretty bunnies. They need their nest boxes. And this one too, it kind of looks like it needs some more time to colonize. So I don't think I'm going to cut into any of these just yet. So I'm just going to leave this one guy down here in the soaking water. Good morning. I'm out here to film the frost, and I don't see that much of it. The leaves are like wet and cold, but I don't think, maybe there's a little frost here. It's not super widespread. See, that doesn't look like frost to me. Very interesting. See this gorgeous rose here? It's water droplets, not frost. Huh. Car's frosty. The ground is definitely frosty. No, that's just dew. Huh. Oh, you can see the difference here. We've definitely got frost on this tomato here, the one that's rambling on the ground. But then we come up here to just above the bed, and this tomato is fine. Maybe there's enough heat in the bed to kind of keep those warm. That's really interesting to see. Yeah, because that tomato is going to be toast when the sun comes out. Anyway, I have a little bit of more cleanup to do this morning. Levi has gone to go grab us some hay. He went with the neighbor and the neighbor's truck to get some really big bales of hay. I can't remember if it was last year or the year before where we got the real big bales of hay. That kind of seems like our option this year. Levi went and grabbed a couple small bales of hay for me last week, and those fit in my van just fine. But while he was there, our hay supplier expressed how they didn't know how many more smaller bales they would be getting for the season. So really glad we decided to put in the garage door over here, because the whole reason we put this in here is just in case we wanted the bigger bales, we'd be able to put them in here easily with our tractor. I think he's only getting 4 bales today, but they're gonna go here. So I've got to tidy some things up. So I shoved a lot of stuff that I'm gonna put back in here, over here. And I was wondering why it was kind of raining down on us. Well, this side of the barn does not have a condensation barrier on the roof. And because it's warmer in the barn right now than it is outside of the barn, moisture is starting to collect on the top of the barn. And as it collects, it can't stick up there forever. It does drip and kind of rain down on everything, which is one of the flaws of this space. But over here, we put in a condensation barrier, and there's no condensation up here. Worth it. For sure. So what Levi's gonna do is drive in here with 1 bale of hay, set it here. Drive in with a second big bale of hay and set it on top, I think. Yeah. So far, they're good? That's good. Don't pee on my hay. You hear me? Hey, don't pee on my hay. He said I would never. I'm an angel. I'm an angel. Go. That worked exactly as we hoped it would. We've got our alleyway here. We can still get through and tend to our bunnies. I stuck the other hay that I had right here, so I'll pull from here first. And that's what it looks like on this side. Not bad. I'll have to check with Levi again how many small square bales one of these big bales equals. These are the 4 twine bales. Yeah, there's 1, 2, 3, 4. This here is an alfalfa orchard grass hay, which is the hay that I prefer to feed. As of right now, I am feeding about 1.5 bales out to all the goats every other day. And that's because we've had a warm fall. And as long as we keep having a warm fall, our fall and winter grasses are going to be growing quite a lot out on our pastures, and we can continue to feed only a small 1.5 bales every other day. So this should last quite a while. Good evening now, same day. I came down to do my sunset barn check, and we're gonna have our first expedition this fall in trying to find baby goats. Sent the fast children. The goats that are missing are Foxy's babies. Here she comes. Peanut and Rodeo are missing. And she knows it too. I figured out with this app that I have that it's not gonna pick it up and play the sound unless I'm decently close to them. So that is also true of the other system that I would use. I had like a remote finder tool that didn't connect to your phone. It had its own remote. That was the same thing. If it wasn't within range, it wasn't gonna pick it up. Up here is where I saw the girls grazing earlier today. I think I see them curled up. Yep, I do. Hi, you two. This is not a safe place for you. My app isn't even picking them up, and that's really disheartening. There it goes, now that I'm 5 feet from you. Oh no, Peanut, are you beeping? I saw them in this corner when we got home. Not these two specifically, but the goats. You wanna grab one?
Grunting. Night, Tiny.
She's like, where am I? Where am I right now? You're safe, baby. Come here, dude. Here we go.
This thing is muddy.
Oh yeah. Did you go in the pond today? Was that fun?
From a distance, it looked like you were carrying two, because I saw his white skull cap.
Oh, and the camera?
Or the screen.
She's
Also,
shivering.
They're scared. I don't know how cold they really are.
Daddy,
Let me
what is
see.
there?
the
Oh,
knife's not
she
dull.
is shivering.
What knife's in
Oh, let's go find Mama. She's looking for him. This area that the goats have to run out here, it's about 6 acres combined with our front goat pasture. And every year we have at least 1 or 2 that get stuck out there 1 or 2 times. So far, knock on wood, nothing bad has happened, but you don't skip the evening check. Rodeo sees the barn. You want to go? Go on. Go get her. Go on. Go get Mama.
I saw the barn until you set him down.
No, he can't see it because he's short.
Can't see it anymore.
Go on, Rodeo. Go on. Try and corral him to the right area. Right here, baby. The reason we have this pallet here is so the goats can figure out how to get home. They go to the pallet, turn right. There's home. All right, now go. Go on. Go on, dude.
He sounds funny.
He's been screaming. There you go. You found him, Mama. Hello and happy Monday. I did get my lard back from the butcher, which is awesome. When they called and told me that the bacon was ready, I asked about the lard and they had it there. So that's good. This is what I got, about 8 pounds worth of lard, which isn't a ton, but really there wasn't a lot of pretty much anything on Shake and Bake. We got a lot less meat off of them than we did with our first pigs, but our first pigs were full-grown coonies that were about 3 years old. These guys were a little less than a year old. In any case, I'm happy with what we've got. So we're gonna take this to the freezer and go get some goat bones. Alrighty, so here is a freezer update. Looking much more full than it was. Up here, this is what was in the freezer before I added shake and bake. So this was basically last year's stuff. And essentially the entirety of shake and bake takes up this shelf and then the bottom in here. This is actually some chicken legs that we bought at a bulk sale. I'm gonna do a little bit of rearranging to shove the lard right here. Alrighty, now this past weekend we did have our goat butchering day and we processed 7 goats on Saturday. Most of them are in here, in these gray totes that I have, and when I put them away I wish I had organized them a little bit better. I just sort of, as the pieces came, we shoved them in these bins. Ugh, if I can even get it out. And all I'm really looking to deal with today are ribs. So here's an example of what one of these bins looks like. We've got like a saddle roast here, a leg. This here is essentially, you know, belly flap meat, but I'm looking for a rib cage, which might be on the bottom. Here we go. There's some rib cages on the top in this bin. But what I'm doing with these is roasting them, and I'm gonna make some bone broth. And then, you know, I have all those onions that need processed like yesterday. We're gonna make French onion soup, but it's gonna be a multi-day process. The reason that I don't keep the goat ribs for something like short ribs or whatever is when we take off the goat shoulder, we tend to take most of the meat off of the outside of the ribs for that. There's really not a lot of anything in between these ribs, and what is here, by the time my bone broth is done, that meat still will be left in here. That's gonna feed our chickens and turn into eggs. See here, that's a goat shoulder. Lots of meat from the backside. It came from the ribs. It's a big rib section. I'm not going to be able to do all 14 rib halves in this batch, so I'll be doing this again for sure. Before I do anything, these have to roast, so I'm going to crank this up 400, 425, maybe even 450, and as soon as I can kind of smell a char, that's when I'll add the water and other things. Now, one of the things that I have talked about making for I don't know how many months is green tomato relish. So with the frost that I thought we were getting the other day, that didn't wind up being as bad as I thought, we did harvest the rest of the tomatoes, the green tomatoes that we had, and all the peppers from the kids' garden. And so I've got everything I need to make the green tomato relish. The thing is, some of my green tomatoes that I picked the other day have started to turn. So I might have to go get some more because I need a total of 10 pounds of green tomatoes. Could I have you guys pick me some more green tomatoes?
Yeah.
I did get a brand new stock pot that is not massive, like my 8-gallon. This is a 5-gallon. And while that sounds big, this looks really small to me, but it's a good mid-size. I needed one of these. So the recipe is on the National Center for Home Food Preservation, and it does say to either coarsely grate or finely chop your vegetables. And so I have this die on my chopper here. It's the 1/4 inch. I'm not going to worry too much about like fully coring these. The texture, like the dense texture of the green tomato, is part of the whole thing. That's how it's going to hold up well to pickling and be very similar to like a cucumber relish. So I've got my tomato, punch it through.
finished and passed down the hill less than a rustle of the wind.
Whoa, Sam Gamgee, he said aloud. Your legs are too short. It's not his fault. He hasn't told us everything. Something scared Mr. Frodo badly.
Hello, welcome back to the kitchen. It's a little bit dark in here because we're having another cloudy day. So let me get some lights turned on. Here is the finished relish. It looks beautiful. I got actually 6 of these larger jars. One of them didn't seal, so I stuck it in my fridge. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.5 of these pints. So you may be wondering, who needs this much relish? Do you really eat that many hot dogs? And I wanted to encourage you to think outside the box. One of my favorite ways to use up relish is to combine it with canned meat. So canned rabbit, canned pork, canned anything. Put them together. You could add a little bit of mayo. You could add all of that to a little bit of pasta for a pasta salad. It's a really nice way to add in a little bit of acid to your meal, a little bit of vegetables when maybe fresh vegetables are a little hard to come by. Like right now we're in between seasons and the stuff that I'm going to be harvesting this winter isn't quite big enough to harvest, and everything from summer is basically gone by the wayside. So those are some of my favorite ways to use up relish, and it's not going to take us very long to go through that probably. Now, as you can see here, I do have onions. We're going to be making the French onion soup today. I'm actually doubling the recipe because I can probably can quite a bit of it tonight, and I also do plan on serving the French onion soup for dinner. We're going to kill 2 birds with 1 stone. So the original recipe, I first saw this recipe on my friend Cassandra's channel. She has a channel called Becoming a Farm Girl, and her French onion soup video is really good. I'm going to link it down below. She not only shows us how to can it, but several different ways on how to use a French onion soup and really leveling up some lovely meals. So check that out. So because I am doubling the recipe, I have 8 pounds of onions here, and I'm going to be cutting them between 1/4 and 1/3 inch thick. I'm going to do rings, and I'm going to caramelize them on the stove in a couple tablespoons of butter. So our 8 pounds of onions is caramelizing down nicely. At this point, I am going to add 6 cups white wine. And again, I'm doubling this. So if you're doing a single recipe, it'd be 3 cups. And I need to boil this for around 10-15 minutes. I did add salt and pepper and some thyme into this while the onions were caramelizing down. Now it's time to get the bread going. So this is not sourdough. It's a crusty yeast bread that I have made a few times on camera, and I love it. I will link the recipe down below. This I also doubled just because I think that we're going to want lots of crusty bread with dinner. And as you can see, it is a more wet type dough. Just fold the dough onto itself to create a ball. And then I'm going to turn the seam side down on this little silicone mat here. This is going to help me lift the dough into the Dutch oven. Okay, so I've got the oven preheated to 450, and my Dutch ovens have been inside preheating along with it. And before anybody freaks out, these lids with that plastic looking knob on them, it is heat safe. You lift up and put this in here, like so. Put the lid back on. They're going to cook in the 450-degree oven for 30 minutes with the lid on. This is going to steam the bread, and then after 30 minutes I'll remove the lid with one of these and it'll cook for an additional 12. Okay, now while the white wine is continuing to reduce down, I'm gonna strain out some of this bone broth. I'm gonna need a total of 6 quarts. This is a half-gallon vessel, so I'll have to do this a couple times. This here is what the broth looks like right now. It's lovely. It's been a little bit longer than 24 hours since we started the process, and I have cooked my broth for up to 3 days. I wouldn't go much further than that because the broth can taste bitter. All right, so I've got the 6 quarts of broth in here, and though I did salt and pepper the onions, this is probably going to need a lot more flavor. And Cassandra mentions in her recipe that you could use things like coconut aminos, you could use soy sauce if that's what you have, Worcestershire sauce, things like that. Oh, it's good, but it does need a little bit more body. A little bit more salt, some black pepper, and I think we're good. Okay, sorry, my battery died earlier, but we've got the canner loaded with 7 quarts of the onion soup, and then here's our bread. Oh, it smells lovely. So normally Swiss cheese is melted over the top of French onion soup. Now this isn't really a classic French onion soup that I've made, and I don't really have any Swiss cheese. I've got some cheese down here that I attempted to make into Swiss cheese. I did all the things, but I didn't get any fancy holes. And what I think I'd actually like to do, because I don't have any, you know, separate ramekins to melt the cheese over the soup in, is I think I'm going to cut the bread and then layer some of this cheese on top and toast it, kind of make it bubbly on the bread instead of on the soup. The cheese slicer gets harder to work with as the little block of cheese gets smaller and smaller, so we'll grate the rest. It's not the most melty cheese.
Baby now.
It's so good.
So did you put your canner?
Hello, good afternoon. We got a very good seal on all 7 of the jars of French onion soup. What you see on top there is fat. I like to keep the fat on my soups rather than skim it off. Side note though, when you have a lot of fat on a jar like this, you want to probably use it up within about a year because that fat can still go rancid even though it's been canned. So you see me, I'm ready to go out in the rain and do some chores. Staying dry in here. It's just kind of drizzly today. On days where it's really raining, I'll feed them inside their coop. Are you actually going to have your babies today? Both of my does were supposed to kindle a couple of days ago, and I have seen nothing. I'm getting a little bit nervous. It looks like sausage here is nesting, which is good. Hey, Chloe girl. You loving this rain? All the mud? Yeah. You boys ready? Now this is the first season, or the first winter, that we'll have the new buck house. I can see we've already got some pooling happening on the north side of the house. I'm not really surprised by that. Our land is pretty flat, but it does slope gradually from the north down to the south. So that checks out. Y'all have a lot of green grass in there. That's good. I am still feeding hay though. Make sure they're getting all they need. Rut is really hard on them, so they need all the nutrition they can get. That one. Ugh, gorgeous. We are mere days away from fresh broccoli. So excited. I actually planted my cilantro starts in this bed. Something very promptly ate it. You can see this little nub. That was cilantro. Check out the carrots. They are loving life. Starting to get little roots. We'll leave them. Cabbages doing well. Still no heading on the cauliflower, but I feel like it's not far off. Look at here. This is my volunteer bean. We've got flowers, guys. Chamomile is doing well. Here's the dill. I was gonna harvest another batch of jalapenos. I think I've decided to leave these on as long as I can, either until they turn red and I can make sriracha, or until we get a deep freeze that's gonna infiltrate the greenhouse and kill the plants. Whichever one comes first. Oh my goodness. Wow. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, this is heavy. This is dense, you guys. Okay. Oh my gosh. Okay, so I got one very large flake down. It's actually two very large flakes. I stuck one over here. I'll be peeling off of these to feed the goats today. I'll probably be peeling off of those for the next few days, if not the next week. It's very dense. You can see how nice this is. You can see the alfalfa right there, and it's lovely and green. It smells so good. This was a good purchase. This is where my little hand cart would come in handy. It's too far away. Wolf, you like it? Can I put it in the hay feeder? Watch out. You boys more interested in me? Like father, like son, huh? One of these was a bottle baby, and one of these was not. You can't tell the difference, can you? All right, well, enjoy your hay, boys. You girls ready too? Yes, more than ready. All right, watch out, girls. Oh. Gotta count the babies. Looks like we've got them all. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Hey, Rodeo. A little cold today, guys. Hi, Spunky. Spunky's still a little turd. Yes, she is. You still a little turd? Yeah. So, Spunky and Peanut were both just budded this week. They handled it very well as they can. Rodeo gets to keep his horns. Peanut's back here. Try and get in better light. It's hard to see Peanut in the shadow, but here she is. So, interesting thing about Miss Peanut is she had been claimed by someone who unfortunately had to give up their spot, so I moved down my wait list. And really when I offered her up, to the second person, I wondered if I really wanted to do that or if I'd really rather keep her for a year and see how she grows out. And I offered her anyway because we really could use the money for hay. But then when that second person unfortunately could not buy her, we decided she can stay. So little Miss Peanut is gonna hang out for at least another year, a lot like little Miss Spunky. Peanut has kind of been her barn name. I'm not sure that's gonna stay, but we'll see. You girls liking that new hay? It's good stuff. Stormy's just gonna use Melee's back as a hay feeder. Hey, that works. It's good, huh? There's definitely a chill in the air this morning. So my daughter came out and checked the rabbits last night and this morning, and she said promptly started pulling hair, but there's still no babies this morning. Hi girls, y'all getting out and grazing today? It's been a rainy few days and they really haven't been out. There's the babies. So I thought about it, and on more than one occasion, on more than 2 occasions, I have gotten my dates wrong in my calendar. So as you, I'm sure, have noticed in this video, and if not in this video, in previous videos, I am not the most organized person, even when I try. These rabbits were bred October 3rd or around there. I actually only have Promptly's breeding date in my calendar. I know Sasha's was bred around the same time. I don't know if it was the same day or a few days after, but yeah, 4 weeks after, which is 28 days, is normally when I give them their nest box. That's tomorrow, and then they will kindle around day 31. So it looks like Promptly has done a really good job fixing her nest. Yesterday when I looked, it was just this little hole right here and it was chock full of hay. She's really packed it down and made a really nice nest in the back here, which is good to see. Promptly is going to be a first-time mom, so that's really good. I like what I see, and I'm not stressed out anymore because I just got my dates wrong. Oh, this cat, can you see him? He's using me as a scratching post. Can I assist you? Yeah. Oh, these claws. They're so good at catching mice though. Hey, Buster. You buddy. So I wanted to let you guys know that I did do my test of the lye feed as a dewormer on my meat goats. And that video did post this previous week. It posted on Tuesday. It's got some monetization, but YouTube is holding it. So I imagine a lot of you haven't gotten notifications for it. So if you are interested in seeing that video, I am gonna link it below. I do show internal organs of a couple of goats, and so just be aware of that, but that was part of the whole process. One of the concerns with feeding lye to your animals has been, what's that gonna do to their internal organs? So we get a good look at that. And I also did fecals, and spoiler alert, it worked pretty well. Hey girls, I'm just gonna come say hi. I'm not gonna feed hay straight away because I do want them out grazing. It's about time for me to come rake this place out again, isn't it? Oh, you guys are getting so fluffy. Can you see their fluffy coats coming in for winter? Oh, so cute. It's so cute, red girl. Also really exciting, my friend Corey is coming this weekend to do ultrasounds on all of the does that are due to kid in springtime. I can't believe that we're already going to see how many babies are coming in spring. When he came this past time to check the girls that kidded in fall, they were a little bit further along than he normally likes to come out, so he's coming a little bit earlier in their gestation, so that's fun. The only one we might not be able to do a count on is Elpis because she was bred last. It's been about 30 days since she was bred, so, and she hasn't come back into heat, and neither has Melee. I know we were talking about that right here. She was also bred to Flip before he was banded. She was bred twice. The first time I bred her, I think she was at the tail end of her heat, so she wasn't really having it, and so she did come back into heat, but we bred her and I think she settled this time. It's hard to play with and see the babies when all these adults just want to be in your lap too. Yeah, there's a baby right there. One of Stormy's boys. which this little guy, he is available for purchase. He does not have a person yet. He's out of Stormy and Mooch. So if you're in need of a buck, email me. So I've got a lot of goat meat to deal with this weekend and this coming week. Along with the meat, I have some tallow that we're going to render. And I'd like to make some things with the tallow. These are rough plans that I have. As you know, plans can change. But those things are coming up. And so you should see at least some of that in next week's video. And as I mentioned, I am going to link the lye as a dewormer video, the whole test that I did, in the description box below. I'm also going to link it here. So I'll see you over there.